On. Good morning, everybody. This is Misha Fayant. I'm here to talk to you today about your health, how you can take it back more simply than you think. So, look, if you've been gaslit by doctors, if you've been told that if you just lose weight and exercise more, all of your problems would get better, if you've been to the doctor and there's things going on with you they can't seem to explain, and you're frustrated and they're frustrated, and you just want to get better, hang out for a minute. We're going to go over a lot of information this morning. Good morning, my boy Jason. Um, so, one of the top things in the world that's causing these things, according to metabolic scientists, is insulin resistance. So, I'm going to go over what insulin resistance looks like and why we're saying that. But first, what you need to know is that only 12% of American adults are metabolically healthy, and insulin is key in your metabolic health, insulin and glucagon. So only 1 in 8 Americans are achieving optimal metabolic health, which carries serious health implications. But guys, even more than that, more current science is saying that more like 95% of us are metabolically unhealthy or have some type of metabolic disorder. And that's wide sweeping because it leads into other diseases like this. So cardiovascular problems, 17.9 million people die each year from cardiovascular diseases, or an estimated 32% of deaths worldwide. And that means 50,000 people yesterday, today, tomorrow, the day after are going to die from cardiovascular diseases. And there is a link between insulin resistance and all of these cardiovascular diseases. I know. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But look, cardiovascular diseases, according to cardiologists, 80% of them are caused by long-term hypertension. Hypertension is one of the main clues that you may be insulin resistant. So, and then doctors will also say, or the ones that I've been studying say, that 95% of hypertension is caused by insulin resistance. So, doesn't it seem like if we take care of that one thing, then other things might start to get better? And I'm on this crazy multi-platform thing, so you guys are going to hear me talk about Facebook and YouTube and whatnot here this morning too, because I want to get the word out. So I want people to be able to get better and take care of their health in a way that doesn't require all these drugs that are damaging your liver, your kidneys, your heart, your throat, all of this stuff. Because reality is that some of those drugs people are taking that are supposed to be diabetes drugs, and they're taking them for weight loss. And I hear time and again, it breaks my heart, I don't care, I just want the weight off. Well, in a few years from now, when all of those things are starting to fail, you are going to care. And what I'm going to talk about this morning is called the Feel Great System. Yes, I'm going to talk about a system. I'm going to give you some other tips, but this system does not cause all those damages. It helps your body do what it's meant to do, because at the base of all of this, our food is imperfect. It's been so modified and manufactured from what we recognize it as that we get this thing called insulin resistance. And that really is happening because that food that's been so modified turns into sugar in our system way too quickly. And then it creates a load on our pancreas, and that pancreas is putting out insulin and insulin and insulin. And just like anything else, when there's an disruption or an imbalance in the body starts to get sick. So when we have these high levels of insulin driven by the food that's being given to us, and I'm going to talk to you about how it even affects your raw vegetarian, pescatarian foods. And I've had a number of people who are both, who have noticed better gut health and better health and whatnot with the system, because there's things like fibers and nutrients that have been stripped out of our food. So this is important. But it also is important because people will ask me, what does it link into, and why do I care about insulin resistance? Well, because these things are all linked into insulin resistance. So sarcopenia, fatty liver, dementia, Alzheimer's, heart disease, stroke, we just were talking about that. But you guys, PCOS and erectile dysfunction, I'm going to show you in 2 minutes how those are a couple of the top indicators of insulin resistance. Did you know that, ladies, if you have PCOS, that could mean that you're just insulin resistant? And if we take care of that, all of these other issues could get better for you. And guys with erectile dysfunction, like, it's not your fault. If you take care of the insulin resistance, maybe your life is back and your wife is happy and you're happy and all of that. So look at osteoarthritis, type 2 diabetes, childhood obesity, migraines, all of this is linked. And then for my ladies out there, or for all of you guys actually, all of this stuff, if you want to screenshot this so you can see it later, but I'm not going to go over all of those, but all of these things are linked to insulin resistance. And that's crazy to me that we have so much that's going on with us that's from this one thing called insulin resistance, and that thing drives back to what our food looks like, the food that we're eating, and why, how it's imperfect and been modified, because we have throughout time, I'm not going to blame all of it on the food industry. We've been asking for tastier and tastier food. And so the food industry complies and they modify and they change our foods. I'll show you that here in a moment. And then we end up with food that our body doesn't really recognize anymore because it doesn't have all the constituents that it should have. So we end up sick. All right. So all of these things, 90% of, or almost all of our health disorders that we have today that are lifestyle related link back to insulin resistance. And that comes from Dr. Ben Bickman, who is one of the top metabolic scientists in the field. That book is called Why We Get Sick. You guys check it out. But that's where most of my information comes from, is doctors who know. This is not some crazy woman just saying whatever. But look at what Dr. Bickman says is, if you want to know if you're insulin resistant and you don't have blood work, then you might want to look at these things. If you have hypertension, skin tags, those things on your back of your neck, under your arms, in your groin. Ladies, it could be around your bra line, on your chest, on your eyelids. Those are both signs of insulin resistance, as is acanthosis nigricans, this darkened skin around the elbows, knees, neck. That is likely insulin resistance. And then I already mentioned PCOS and erectile dysfunction. But there's some other signs too. And I want to talk to you about the fact that if you're waiting for your A1C and your blood glucose to go up to say, hey, I'm diabetic, then you're late to the party, because insulin resistance can be happening in your body for 20 years. For me, it was about 40 years before we caught on, or actually before my numbers got high enough for somebody to say, hey, you're diabetic. Well, had we caught it 40 years ago, I'm not going to say that I would have, but it's likely that I would have never lost my gallbladder. I would have not lost 3 joints that had to be replaced and a number of other issues that happened. So that's why I'm here talking about this, because you guys, I was like the poster child for insulin resistance, all the stuff that could go wrong, except for like I never ended up in liver failure or kidney failure. It was headed that way, but I had all of it, and I was sick, and I felt like I couldn't get up and have a real life. And from somebody who was just several years ago in my 50s, a world champion powerlifter 4 times over, to all of a sudden be like, I'm in so much pain, I can't get off the couch. That was devastating to me. So that's why I'm here talking about it. But look, if you're waiting for your A1C and your blood glucose, that's end stage insulin resistance. That's what I call it, because by the time it gets to that point, the insulin resistance has been causing all of these other issues that you can't figure out in your body for a long time. But some other ways that you can tell you may be insulin resistant are these. So if you have that bulging belly, if you have high triglycerides, a low HDL, if your feet or your limbs are retaining water, or you have edema, before you ever get those diabetic labs, those are indicators that this is what's going on. If you're constantly hungry, or you're eating after you just ate, if your body temperature drops, or you're fatigued after you just ate, that's a sign. Chronic fatigue, body aches and pains, and migraines, those are all signs of insulin resistance. So even without lab work, right, if you're having these signs, and what I'm telling you is it doesn't take medication for what I'm talking about to start to turn that needle, and thank you. If you can do that with just a couple of real food products and start to get better from all of this because it's affecting the insulin resistance, why wouldn't you start taking care of it now before you end up like me with 3 joint replacements and a gallbladder removal and all of this other stuff going on? When I found out that all those things were linked to this one thing, I was devastated, because like, why didn't anybody tell me sooner? Why didn't even one of the doctors that I worked for or went to talk about this with me? In fact, I had a metabolic specialist and a hormone specialist. We ran panels on me. I have crazy hair this morning. And she's told me literally, like, Misha, you have the worst metabolic type that could come back on this test. And I hate to tell you, this is a hard conversation to have, but you're always going to be fat. You're always going to be sick and tired, and there's nothing I can do for you. So, for all of those guys out there who are like, oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about. And if you just did this, if you just ate less, exercised more, it would get better. This doctor literally told me that eating less, exercising more wasn't going to fix the problem for me. So, why I'm here talking about this is because I got really, really sick and nobody could figure out what was happening to me. And then I got better. And as I started implementing this system into my life, which is a tea I drink in the morning and a pre-meal drink I drink before I eat anything, as all of these issues started to go away, sleep apnea, hypertension, hyperlipidemia, muscle cramping, body aches and pains, anxiety, direct depression, all of that started to go away. I was like, wait a minute. I started taking these products to help my diabetes and to hopefully lose some weight. Why is all of this like leg cramps? I woke up one morning and I realized I wasn't having leg cramps every morning. And they woke me up screaming in pain every day, like literally crawling to the fridge to find pickle juice or mustard. I would actually leave a mustard bottle on my nightstand knowing that I was going to wake up with leg cramps. I couldn't go through the airport, my legs would cramp up. So all of that started to get better. And I'm like, why? I haven't changed anything in my life, but adding two real food products, why is everything getting better? So I started researching. And if you guys go back and look at my, I mean, it's thousands of videos, right? But if you go back and look at my videos from the start, I'm going to admit, I didn't understand what was going on. I talked about a few things. I talked about Hashimoto's. I talked about PCOS. I talked about the things I knew, and I started linking those. But all of these other things I talked about, I didn't know until I started to get better and I realized something happened here and why did this make that change? And Jason, thank you. So Jason, are you able, yeah, you can't go live on this one. Maybe can I get you live later today? By the way, over on the other platforms, you'll see a stream where I did with Jason and interviewed him about his success. He's lost over 140 pounds, took his A1C from 13.3 down to 6.3. He's over on my TikTok channel right now. But more than that, like the doctors were so distraught, and Jason started out over 400 pounds, and they were telling him to have gastric surgery. So, you know, I am not a physician. I can't tell you what to do. I can share with you what I know from the people that I work with and talk to. And every person that I've talked to that's had that gastric band surgery has had iron absorption deficiencies and has had a number of other problems that didn't fix. So the gastric band, yes, it's slowing down your stomach, but it's not fixing the root cause of the food turning into glucose, and this system does. So Jason, long story short, opted not to have that gastric band surgery, and he still has lost over 140 pounds now. But he has his health, and he doesn't have any of those damaging uh, issues from the surgery that can happen. And I know you guys, I mean, they go over some of that, right? But some people, you guys are so, and I get it, but you're so desperate to lose weight. You're so desperate to change things because you're told that if you lose the weight, everything else will get better. So why not go take Monjaro? Why not go do gastric band surgery? Why not go do all those things? Because you're being told if you lose the weight, everything else gets better. So let's do whatever we can to lose the weight. But what if I tell you that that's not necessarily the way to go? Like what if you start addressing what's really the root cause is that's causing your body to be sick so your body can heal up and then the weight will come off? What if we look at it that way and say that maybe, yeah, getting the weight off, you know what? Losing 50 pounds changed a lot for me. When I travel, and I travel a lot, I'll be going again here in a few weeks. But when I load up my big suitcase and it weighs in at 50 pounds and I try to pick that up, I'm like, that's the weight that I used to carry on my body every day. 50 pounds is what I've lost. And no wonder my body feels better. So does lose weight, does that help? Yes. But is that the starting point? Maybe not. Maybe we need to address what's going on internally and this overload of insulin and the dysfunction that it's causing, and then you can get better. Okay. I get excited about it, you guys, because there are so many people who've been helped. I have a number of success stories here. I'm going to show you just so you can understand what I'm talking about. I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. This is me. The picture on the left was me in 2021, just before I found the system. I was in pain. I was miserable. I was smiling, trying to be happy, but I knew that something was wrong, and I didn't like who I was. Couldn't go up and down stairs. This is me after 50 pounds gone. And then, my A1C was 7.4. It's now 5.3. All of my labs are now in normal range, every single one. And my blood pressure runs about 120 over 70 every day. And we're going to talk about blood pressure again here in a little bit. But that was me. And then Jason, oh, this is my feet. The top picture was before the system, and the bottom picture is after the system being on. I was coming back from Panama, so I'd been on a plane and in airports all day. Came home, pulled my socks off, and realized they weren't swollen and they weren't painful, and I was shocked. Like, how do you do that? How do you change elevations and all of that and not have that swelling go on? I didn't know, but that's my reality now. So this is Jason, my guy who's on here helping me out. One of my warriors. He went from this guy who was not smiling because he was not happy. That shirt, by the way, is loose on him now. I need to get a new. And Jason, since you're on here, I need a new picture because I know that it looks different than this one now. But yeah, Tammy says fix the inside and the outside will change too. And she's on the system and having amazing results. She's doing so good that she's telling her family and friends about it. Thank you, Tammy, because that means we're saving more people's lives, right? And that's what this is about, is helping people get their life back. So, and anyway, Jason got over all of these things. I'm just going to go through a couple more people here. Cindy has lost 90 pounds now. When I made this slide, she had lost 80. She got over her hypertension, hyperlipidemia, inflammation, and her A1C wasn't that bad, right? But she had a lot of weight to lose. So when people say, if I'm not fat, does this work? Well, here's Karen. She's only lost 25 pounds, but she's lost a ton of inches. But her A1C was 11.5 and it's now 6.5. So she was not having the excess weight yet, but she was definitely having the numbers saying she was diabetic. So this is my girl Steph. Nobody thought in the picture in the dress that she was needing to lose weight. Nobody realized she was depressed, but she went from a size 14 to a size 6. She has what she calls 4-pack abs. She got over her depression, her heartburn, and it helped her with her focus with her ADD. This is another one. She was a cancer survivor, has lost over 60 pounds. Type 1 diabetic kid. So yes, type 1 diabetics, you can be insulin resistant too. Just because you're not producing insulin doesn't mean that the same things aren't at play with you. So look, let's talk about that, because people ask, and it's a real question, I get it. But if our food is causing sugar spikes in our body and causing the need for excess insulin, and that excess insulin is causing problems, and you're a type 1 and you can't produce insulin, but you're having to inject it to still deal with the same foods that the rest of us are eating, you still can become insulin resistant and still have weight gain and memory issues and anxiety and depression and all of that. I have a number of type 1 diabetics utilizing the system who have reduced the load of their quick acting insulin, and they're now only on their long acting insulin, and they've been able to reduce the amount of that insulin they're having to take. As a result, all of those things I've talked about, losing weight, feeling better, less anxiety, depression, all of it has gotten better for them. So this is not just a type 2 diabetic thing, okay? So if you are type 1 or you have people in your family that are type 1 and they're struggling with all these things, it can help them too. Thanks, Tam. Tammy over here says, listen to Misha. She's taught me so much and she's easy to understand. I try to break it down. I try to take all of this stuff that I read and research from metabolic scientists, diabetic doctors, heart doctors, and break it down into real world terms so everybody can understand. Because if I'm not giving you stuff you can't understand, then it does no good, right? I'm here to help you, not to confuse you or look like I'm some super educated person. In the end, I'm just a real person like you guys. But look, so all of this is going on, and what we're told is, like I've said so many times, to cut calories, lose weight, do all this, meal replacement clinic, weight loss clinics, box meal plans. Look, all of it can work, but if it's not sustainable, if it doesn't work long term, you're not going to stick with it, and you're going to end up with the same old problems, right? So how many of you guys have tried any of those things and got success, and then something happened, life got in the way, and you fell off, and you're like, oh shoot, man, now I've fallen off, now I'm gaining the weight back, now all of this, and I just can't seem to do this, and you eventually give up. That's where I was. I was like, if all this stuff isn't going to work, if my doctor tells me there's nothing that's going to happen that's going to make me lose weight or feel better, then why not just eat what I want? Well, that's flawed thinking, I get it, but that's where we end up, right? So what if I tell you there's a better way, but that doesn't require you to have all this excessive willpower? Because in the end, the truth is that we are not able, we have limited stores of resources for our mental faculties, for our physical faculties, and with our modern food environment, the work demands we have, our family needs, our time constraints, the stress, we end up with decision fatigue, and that's real. So we get at the end of the day and we're tired and we're frustrated and we're like, I can't make one more decision. I don't want to go stand in front of that stove and cook. I'm going to swing by someplace just for tonight, right? Just for tonight, I'm going to swing by someplace and I'm going to grab something on the way home, and tomorrow I'll do better. It's happened to all of us. It's not like it's happened to all of us. So, but this is what happens when we do that, right? This is what we're faced with. This is what we're bringing home. And again, what if I could tell you, you could have those things once in a while, not feel guilty, still stay healthy? I'm not saying have this every day, but like if you want to have pizza with your kids on the weekends and you're doing some of those other things, can you have pizza on the weekends with your kids? Nope. But you can here, because we're just addressing the root cause, right? So, and then I talked about foods. So when we look at this chart, you guys, if you look at the carrot in the upper left-hand corner, that root is what our carrots actually were organically made to be. So when you go into the store and it says organic food in the grocery store, do you understand that that organic food only has to meet certain parameters to be labeled organic, but they're not talking about has it been modified? Is it the what they would call heirloom source of that vegetable? No. Or fruit? No. So carrots were tough, bitter, stringy. They were hard to chew, hard to eat, and we kept saying we want something that tastes better. And now we have these perfect looking round little oranges. I remember pulling carrots out of the ground and they looked far closer to the root than the carrot on the bottom, because I was raised on a farm, in a small family farm in North Idaho. We grew our own stuff. But then you look at watermelon and look at all the fiber and seeds that were wrapped around that juicy middle part. There's a reason pomegranates are made the way they are, to slow us down from getting all of that glucose and fructose in our system. Watermelons were the same. I remember, like as a child, and I'm 59, as a child, people saying, I don't want to deal with the seeds. I don't want to deal with the fiber. And so now we end up with sugar water in a shell. Corn is similar. Bananas have, I don't have that picture up here. Bananas have a lot of fiber in them and these seeds that are like stones, and people don't want to deal with that. So the bananas we get don't have either one of those things. They're just sugar, glucose in a skin. And then when we look at our grains and see all of these outside layers that are stripped away to get to that starchy endosperm, do you understand that why we have all those layers on the outside of our foods organically is to slow down what's going to happen when that inner part gets to us? This is why doctors are saying our foods are foreign to us now, because all of those things have been stripped away. So yes, I talked about the Feel Great system, and the why I love it is this is putting back a number of those things that have been stripped away. So now our body can deal with our food in the way it was meant to. And this helps me with hunger and cravings. I'm going to go over both in a minute. But this is why it's necessary. This is why the root causes really address what's happening with our diet, and then all the other things get better. So look, you can do it with or without the system. There are some people, amazing people out there, by the way, I'm going to say this. Like, look, if you can do it without the system and you're that strict with your diet and you're that strict with your life, amen, hallelujah. But you know what? Something like more than 90% of us are not. And it's just not going to happen for us. So what we want to do is make it easy for people to attain health and to change this negative pattern and get healthy without all the guilt, without all the worry. And you know what the other thing is? The more you start to get healthy with the system, the more you want to do better. But you got to start somewhere. So I'm putting a ladder in front of you, and I'm not telling you you got to jump to the top rung. I'm telling you take it a step at a time, and let's get you to that healthier lifestyle. Then, and you go as far up that ladder as you want to go and take care of the health you want to take care of. And that's where we're at, right? So this is not I'm going to put you through some boot camp and tell you to fix rice and chicken and broccoli, or, that you have to go on and count your calories and do all of this stuff. No, that's not this. And I just had a conversation with somebody yesterday that was like, I just got my system, and I have visitors coming, so I'm going to wait a week and I'm going to start. And I'm like, no, no, that's not what we want to do. The system is made to help you through the real life of today so that you don't have to wait. You're not having to be like, okay, I got to go buy groceries. I got to stock up. I got to prepare because now I'm going to be on this crazy diet. And now I got to be mentally ready. I got to have my cupboards ready. I can't have, no. The system is meant to work with your real life. So you just use the pre-meal drink before you eat anything, and that pre-meal drink helps mediate all of those sugars and the fats that you are eating. So it turns, scientifically proven, it turns a high glucose or a high glycemic food into a medium glycemic food with just one packet of this. And that's the goal, is it's just addressing the real issue. This is 9 different soluble and insoluble fibers and a number of other things we're going to go over in a second. But so if you want to do it, you're going to try and do these things anyway. So you want to get in fiber first, and that's what that packet is, right? You want to do that balance first about 10 minutes before you eat. That's going to help fill you up. It's going to help create this gelatin mass. The fibers create this mass in your gut that help you from absorbing all of that sugar and fat and slows down the delivery, so the insulin spike is never as high. You want to fill up with fat. Now, people will always, I get a lot of comments, I thought it was protein first, I thought it was whatever. Okay, let's look at that. Why I'm saying fill with fat as the second one, because fats don't spike your insulin, and fats are very satiating, and fats have a number of other good properties in your system, and your protein needs fats in order to metabolize, right? So have the fats, fill up with those, have good fats in your diet. If you'll notice, when you eat a meal that has these healthy fats, I'm going to talk what those are, and you're less likely to be hungry for all the carbohydrates anyway. And then you eat your protein. Most of us are not getting in enough protein. Just a baseline, 80 to 120 grams of protein is what most of us need, and most of us are not getting even that. I eat whatever I want on the system. So I'll tell you what my diet looked like in a second. I'm going to go over these 6 principles. And I try not to have all the junk stuff all the time, but I eat what I want. And I'll tell you what I ate yesterday. Not sure what I'm having today, but anyway, I eat what I want. I have a different diet because I'm single, and so I have, like, if I buy a package of chicken or chicken sausage or whatever, like, I'm eating that for 6 days, right? So that's me. But all right, so we also want fats and proteins have to work together in order for you to metabolize as much protein as you can. Then you want to control your carbs, and this is what I'm saying. No, it's not a fast. It's an intermittent fast, and I'll talk about that and why we do that. But you want to control your carbs, and especially those high glycemic carbs. So things like rice, breads, potatoes. But I still have potatoes. I love potatoes. I'm a North Idaho girl. We're raised on potatoes. So then you want to watch the clock. That's intermittent fasting. So I fast for 16 hours and I eat in an 8-hour window. I think I had my dinner around 5 or 6, and last night I did have a snack. I've been super hungry because I've been doing so much. So I had, like, this is how I eat, right? So after, I think it was about 9 o'clock, and I had a balance. I just had an extra balance yesterday. This is my crazy diet. I had some peanut butter with butter and a slice of bacon on a piece of bread. That was my dessert, or my I gotta eat something thing. But that's not normal. So normally I eat 2 meals. And we'll go over yesterday. It was, what did I eat for breakfast? Oh, yeah, I had a big piece of quiche Lorraine. So bacon and or ham and cheddar in eggshell in a pie crust. That's what my breakfast was. And my dinner was like a factor meal, so it's closer to keto, but chicken piccata with some vegetables and whatnot. But now this weekend, my grandson will come over and he'll want pizza or something. I'll have pizza when he's here. But I fast for 16 hours. So since I ate at 9 o'clock last night, I want to come to 9 o'clock this morning is 12 hours now, right? So now I'm going to wait 4 more hours before I eat. And that puts me at that 16-hour window. And then I'll have my meals. And I really just eat what I want, following those principles. There's no specific diet. If you're vegan, eat vegan. If you're pescatarian, eat pescatarian. If you love red meat, eat red meat. If you love chicken, eat chicken. Do you, boo, but just follow those principles. Like, I'm not telling you you have to change your whole life and do something that's foreign to you in order to get better. That's not true. And you know what? I get, it cracks me up because I have people like, vegetarian is the only way, um, uh, carnivore is the only way. And look, the truth is, it's different for everybody. I've read a lot of books like Eat Right for Your Body Type, Eat Right for Your Blood Type, Eat Right, like all of this stuff. And I think there's some truth in all of those. So we all have a different dietary need as far as what, like, Bill Phillips used to talk about different body types and how some were like a combination of the vegetable and meat, some were more carnivore, some were more vegetarian, and everybody reacted differently. You could take two different people with two different genetic backgrounds and put them on the carnivore diet. One will thrive and the other will not. Same thing with vegetarianism. So I'm not here to tell you that you have to change your way of eating as far as that. You just follow what you normally eat, make a little bit better choices in what you're doing. And yes, this tea that we drink in the morning, which is Jason, see my Wonder Woman cup? Jason gave this to me because he knows I'm a crazy cup lady and he knows I love Wonder Woman. So the tea shuts down your hunger in the morning for sure, and that's why I drink this. I will finish drinking this in the next hour, and then I won't be hungry. And if I do get hungry, guess what? I can have another tea. Yeah, that's me, crazy cup lady. All right. So the chaos that is my life. You know what though? If my life wasn't chaos, I would be so sad. Like, let's be real. I joke about it a lot. But whew, I think it's the adrenaline rush. I like being busy. I like having stuff to do. So this little chart, really what it is showing us what happens when we normally eat. So our food is unmediated by these fibers and these nutrients. So we get these high glucose spikes, and then insulin has to come to the rescue. Ta-da, insulin to the rescue. But now you've pumped the insulin up so high, it's like this superhero super guard saying, you're going to pump me full of sugar again. I'm going to stay up here so insulin stays up. And sure enough, there you go. Especially if you're taught to eat every 2 hours. Now you're eating again and you're spiking up that insulin again. And then so insulin's like, okay, cool, I'm going to hang out up here. But you're having this hyporeactive thing, or this reactive hypoglycemia, where your blood sugar drops and you start to get like, look, I usually say you don't get hangry, but I want to talk to you. I was listening to one of the doctors last night that actually has produced these products, and she was talking about this reactive hypoglycemia and how people actually get hangry. So when you're fasting, you normally don't get hangry. That's not how it works. When you're subjecting your body to these huge insulin spikes all the time, and you have this insulin spike and then the sugar drops, now your baseline blood sugar is different, and that's when you start to get that hangry feeling. So the tea, before I finish this up, let's go here. I gotta turn this down. There we are. Okay, so you guys over on YouTube, Facebook, this is where it's at. So if you look at my profile here on TikTok, you're going to go to this. And if don't have TikTok, don't worry, I'm going to show you. But you go to this link right underneath the red lights, and that is going to take you to my website. You guys right here, my link tree, which is just Coach Misha Fayant. If you go to Linktree and go Coach Misha Fayant, that's there. It's on my Instagram, by the way. My webpage is mishafayant.com, and you can get there. So if you just click on this Order Feel Great link once you get to my Linktree, or on my website, on the top of every page is a Buy Now button. That's where you're going to go to buy it. So when we click on that, either through the Linktree or this, it's going to take you to a page that says you were referred by Michelle Fayant. That's important, you guys, because now you get me to ask questions to help you coaching, to help all of that. You're just going to click the Buy Now button, and then that is going to take you to the purchase page. And look at, they've already selected the most common orders, right? So right now, I'm going to just, full disclosure, we're having problems keeping up with demand, so lemon can be out of stock. Save yourself the trouble. Lemon ginger does have a ginger hit to it. I like it, but if you don't think you can take the lemon ginger, there's the black, which looks, feels, and tastes more like coffee. Or you can do a multi-pack, which has 10 of each of the lemon ginger, and the black. But if you want the lemon, just know that it may be a delay in getting to you, depending on if we have it in stock or not. Then they've already selected the most price-saving option for you, which is to do the monthly subscription. So you do that, it's going to save you $10 on shipping. It's going to save you $5 off the product, and you get this. This month, they're doing a free Omega Life 3. This is for your first order. So these Omega 3s come free with your first order. So that's where you're going to order it from. And I don't want to shut that down. And that, I hope that answers that. And you guys over here on this, I thought I switched it over to screen share, and apparently I didn't. So sorry about that. Just go to mishafayant.com. It's right up here on the corner, or scan the QR code on this live, and that's going to get you where you need to go. So for the rest of you, that was it. Now, what's happening with the system and the balance is that we're lowering that glucose spike. And how we're lowering it is we're encapsulating the sugars with these fibers, and it's slowing down how quickly they hit your system, so that it doesn't spike. Your insulin is high. Now your body's like, okay, this is more normal. We're going to have a meal. We're going to let the insulin come down. The insulin doesn't have to be this superhero, put my cape on and guard your body thing. So you have a more normal reaction to the food you eat. And that's what we're doing. So this is what happens when you have that reactive hypoglycemia I was talking about. You have this insulin spike, or this glucose spike, which makes your insulin come out. Now, when insulin is out, this is important to know, you can't burn fat, you can't break down fat, and it stimulates fat storage. Now, insulin is not a fat storing hormone, but it's a key component in that whole process, right? So insulin is now out. Like I've said, it's a major player in there, and you have this glucose crash. That glucose crash, because of the difference between where your insulin is, it's trying to deliver all of this as energy, and where your glucose actually is, now you're hungry, right? So now this is where you're having this constant hunger from, and why you're having cravings and all of that. So the best way to address that is to just slow down the delivery of the sugar, so the insulin doesn't have to spike as high. What we're doing with the system is we're just utilizing these two food products, the Unimate in the morning, the balance before meals, and this time-based eating pattern of 16-8 fast to help you through all of that. And it looks like this. So when we on the system have dinner about 5 to 7 p.m. for me, normally it's around 6, then you just have balance mixed in water before your dinner about 10 minutes before. 10 minutes, guys, is the key, because what happens is that when you have it 10 minutes before, it's giving time for those fibers to fill up in your gut, to thicken up and expand. So number one, it's starting to shut down your hunger. You're starting to feel full already. But number two, when that fiber starts to thicken, now it can do its job of encapsulating the food that you're eating and slowing down the delivery of those sugars. So can you drink it just before you eat? Yes. Something is better than nothing, but that optimal time is right at 10 minutes. But look, I've done jobs before I started doing this where I didn't have time. Like we would get notified because it was randomized on demand. We'd be like, I'd have 5 minutes. Like we're gonna stop and grab lunch, and so I just take my balance as soon as I could, and then eat, and I still maintain the 50 pounds off and my health. 10 minutes is best, but this is not meant for you to have to be perfect. Like roll with it, right? Life gives us some punches, just roll with it. And the thing is, you get me to help you understand and coach through all of that. If you have questions, if you're a shift worker and you're like, I don't know how to fit this in, I'm going to talk to you and help you work that out. Okay, so about 2 hours after you eat, your fasting window will start when your stomach starts to empty out. Then your blood sugars are going to normalize, but it takes about 6 hours after you eat for your blood sugars to really normalize. 2 hours after those blood sugars normalize before the insulin levels drop, and then glucagon can come out to play. So I'm going to stop right here and explain really quick insulin and glucagon, okay? Insulin is an anabolic hormone. It's a major player. There's not really anything that I can think of. There may be something, but insulin is like one of the key players in the game. And when insulin's out to play, nothing else gets to do its job, especially if it opposes insulin. It's just insulin's like, nope, not having it. You're not coming out to play. Well, glucagon is opposing it. So insulin, anabolic, it wants things to grow. Insulin is great because it takes all of this energy as food that we eat and delivers it to every cell in your body. That's its job, and that's a wonderful job that it's doing. But when we're calling on it too much, it becomes like a bully in your system. So insulin has to go to sleep, and then glucagon, which is catabolic, which wants to eat things up. So think fat stores or cells that are starting to go away that need to go away anyway. You need to be in this little bit of catabolic state to burn those out so that you're metabolically flexible. And scientists and doctors will tell you the key to all this is being metabolically flexible. Most of us are running on insulin all the time, and our glucagon really never gets out to play. So that's why we're doing the intermittent fasting, right? Because now normally your glucagon normalizes right around 4 a.m. if you haven't snacked at night. But most of us are having snacks, ice cream, popcorn, whatever. So that means that whole timeline gets pushed back how many ever hours it was since you ate. Now you're waking up and you're having breakfast that's laden with carbs, and you start the whole thing over again. You're running on insulin. You're never allowing glucagon really to come out and do its job. So in the morning, what we're doing is we're waking up and we're having the Unamate tea. That shuts down your hunger, gives you energy, mental clarity, helps with fat burning, and it does not break your fast. So that, with the support of that, now you're not hungry, you're feeling good, you have all this energy because you're in this fat burning state. That energy, by the way, feels way different than the energy from like a Bang energy or lots of coffee. So this is a natural energy that you have from utilizing your energy stores in your body or your fat stores, and then your fat burning is ramped up. And then around lunchtime, when you have that breakthrough hunger, well, then you just have another balance and you have your first meal or your break fast. So again, yesterday for break fast, and probably again today, because remember, I have to eat up what I buy. I eat pretty simply because of that. So I'll have that quiche again today, and my tea. All right. So this is what it looks like on the system. You wake up in the morning, you have the tea, you're in this great fat burning state. Around lunchtime or 1 o'clock, you're going to have your balance. And look, you have that when you're hungry. If you're having a day where you've expended a lot of energy and you're hungry at 11, eat at 11. If you're not hungry until 2, eat at 2. This is not like you must follow this rigid scheme or you're bad. No, this is not one of those things. Look, if you do have hunger in the afternoon, just have an extra Unamate. It's going to shut down the hunger, not break the fast, not give you extra calories that you are going to be detrimental. And then you wait 4 to 6 hours, have your dinner, and start the whole process over again. And that's the goal of the system. So look, if you have one of those days or one of those lives where 2 meals a day isn't cutting it for you, like on the weekends, you want to have breakfast with your family, you want to do all those things, be a real person, have the breakfast, just have your balance beforehand. Wait 4 to 6 hours, have your next meal, wait 4 to 6 hours, have your next meal, and then start over again the next day. Pretty simple, right? You guys, this is not meant to be hard. You do not have to struggle. You do not have to like feel bad when you have those moments. What if you're going to a wedding or an event? And how many of you guys, like I did keto as an athlete for 10 years. You know, I wouldn't go places because I'm like, I don't know what I can eat. I don't know if they're going to have things I can eat. I would have to pack food to take with me because I was eating less than 30 grams of carbohydrates a day. And people just were like, yeah, she's not going to come, and I don't know what to fix for her. So, you know, your whole social life starts to get impacted. You don't have to do that with this. If you're going out with friends and they want to have whatever they're having, maybe they're, you know, having some amazing Italian or Indian or whatever food, you don't have to say, ooh, there's nothing here I can eat. You just have your balance first and you go out and you live your life. This is this is the gold of the system. So the tea, I'm going to start there because that's what we do in the morning, right? The tea is amazing to me because look, and our doctor went over this a little bit last night and when she was talking to us, but our tea is handpicked. So the farmers who pick it, and we have personal relationships with the farmers who are collecting our product. They own their own farms. They're sustainable. It's ethically and environmentally, it's sustainable. It's not machine picked. It's not like slave labor. And a lot of the herbal mate is. You guys, I learned something really crazy last night too. I'm going to pause for a second because people will be like, go buy a bagged herbal mate tea. What I learned last night was that, do you know some of these things, and I talk about it with oils all the time, but they maybe do not have actual herbal mate in those big tea bags. There may be something that's similar to, botanically similar to. So are you even getting real herbal mate in those bagged teas? Who knows? They don't test it. The supplier that's giving it to the person who's bagging it, they don't test it to make sure that botanically it's what they're asking for. It looks, feels, and tastes like it. So, hey, but it may not have all the constituents you need to be better. So, like, look, we've taken care of all of that. Our stuff is tested to make sure that it's botanically, chemically what we want before it even gets processed or it doesn't go through the processing. Then it gets fire roasted to help release the constituents that we want to get to you. Then it's extracted from the bulk of the plant so that you're getting these natural components. Then they're concentrated down. Just one of the components you're going to see in a minute has 375 times that as a normal herbal mate tea. Then we take it even a step further. So we take it to a Swiss lab where it goes through a process called hyperpure. That purifies the tea and makes sure that it's free of things like chemicals and pesticides and all of those environmental contaminants so that you're getting the highest quality, most pure product that we can deliver to you that's efficacious. So your Unimate tea, you can drink it at any time. It helps you feel great all day. There's no crashes. It's non-addictive. You're not going to get that Betty White, I'm so angry, I want to throw you up against a wall feeling. It suppresses hunger and cravings by using your stored fat for fuel, boosts your mood, mental, and physical performance. By the way, there's studies that show that this can improve physical strength and endurance by 10 to 13%. As a former athlete, that's huge. Like this, and it's real food, so it's not gonna, and it's listed with NSF and Cologne list, and there's another one. But those lists, it's not going to pop you on a WADA drug test because it's food. But if I had a 10% advantage in my lifts from being able to get to have these nutrients in my system, that would have been huge. Like I won every competition I went to, but you know, I would have liked to won by a lot more on some of those. So hey, would I still be competing had I not lost all my joints and stuff from the insulin resistance? Probably. So look, that's my my little side gig. All right, so I want to go over the tea really quick, you guys, and explain what's in it. Chlorogenic acids, they promote neuroprotective gene expression, have an antioxidant effect in the brain. That's part of what's giving you that feeling of well-being, healthy blood pressure, glucose levels, and promoting weight loss. This is the one. There's 375 times more chlorogenic acids in this herbal mate than any other standard herbal mate tea. And that's important. Chlorogenic acids, by the way, for all those things that I was talking about, it's one of the few components that can cross the blood-brain barrier, and that's how it's doing all of this. So when we think about anxiety, depression, it's affecting those for so many people. So theobromine, I wrote down notes because I learned a little bit about that last night too. And I don't think I have the note for it. There was something she said about theobromine that was, yep, I need to do some more research on that because the theobromine is something about methylation, and so I need to be more clear on that. But it's amazing. So it supports healthy blood pressure, cholesterol levels, promotes a feeling of calmness, reduces mental fatigue, and improves focus. And there's 3 times more theobromine in this than there is in the highest quality dark chocolate, and that's the component in that dark chocolate that's giving you that ooh ah feeling. So theobromine also, we come back to the theobromine. Theobromine, when we talk about, that's why the methylation. So when we talk about theobromine, when we talk about caffeine, by the way, I did get a definitive, there's between 75 and 100 milligrams of naturally occurring caffeine in this. Because we're not adding caffeine to an extraneous product, I can't tell you there's at least 75 milligrams, and at the top end 100 milligrams because it's naturally occurring. It depends on the maturity of the plant and all of that, how much caffeine actually ends up in there. But that's the caffeine. The caffeine in this acts a little different, and then we add to the component of it that it has things like theobromine, chlorogenic acids, and mate saponins, which I'm going to talk about. They help mediate. Theobromine in particular helps mediate the effects of that caffeine so it doesn't have that harsh effect in your body that most people are talking about, that they're like so scared of caffeine for. These are naturally occurring in the plant, and that's why it's so important to have these and have this type of product that you can rely on, that that you're getting all of this. So it's also the mate saponins now. Mate saponins are unique to this plant. It helps support healthy triglycerides and the body's ability to burn fat. And they're just a class of molecules that are unique to this plant that are doing those things. In that saponin, there are triterpenoids. And when you think about like the reishi teas that everybody's talking about, or the reishi coffees and stuff, the triterpenoids are what they're talking about. They're giving you the most of those benefits. Those are present in Unimate, and that's empowering. Because I was always like, well, dude, I want to try the reishi tea. And then I started doing some research and found out, well, there's a lot of these triterpenoids in the Unimate, and I'm already getting those benefits. So it helps lower serum cholesterol and provides antioxidant and anti-cancer activity in the body. So that's the Unimate tea. And look, you guys, you can have it at any time. In the morning is great, right? I said you can have it between meals if you're having breakthrough hunger. You can have it before tests, meetings, anytime you're feeling brain fog or like you just want to be mentally more clear. Hypothyroidism, sorry, Dusty, I was off on a tangent. Hypothyroidism, I had Hashimoto's. So I have on my list to start doing some more informative stuff on hypothyroidism and insulin resistance. There is a link. I've had a number of women with hypothyroidism start to feel much better while they're on the system because it can reduce the effects of those symptoms and the whole storm of stuff that's going on in your body with TSH. And guys, a lot of hypothyroidism, what I'm learning now is it's a factor of receptors being blocked, just like it is with insulin. And so when we start to reduce the inflammation, because cellular inflammation is real too, and some of the things I was listening to this weekend were talking about how the cells get inflamed, and just like the walls in the blood vessels get thickened, that cell wall gets thickened, and now you have this receptor for hormones. The cell walls start to thicken, and now that receptor isn't sticking out as much, so the hormones aren't able to find it. So there's a lot of stuff. I'm not the person on that. I'm going to try and do some more research and give you a better answer, but I know that it can affect hypothyroidism. So Tammy said 6.5 weeks, 12 pounds down, 25.5 inches gone. She feels amazing. And yeah, food freedom, right? Like I don't advocate for eating whatever you want, but I advocate, all the time, right? Like I'm not going to say eat pizza, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then have ice cream every day. No, but you get to eat what fits in your lifestyle. So, and you're just going to start to make better choices as your body starts to heal up from all of this. Yeah. Thank you, Liddy Lou. So, okay. So I want to go over the balance really quick, and then you guys keep asking questions. I love questions because this is all about you guys anyway. You know what? I'm just gonna be super real. I haven't done it for a while, and I'm like, something's missing. But I'm more spiritual than religious. But I actually sit down and say a prayer before I come on live that I'm able to affect at least one person that needed this today. And so I hope that one person is here, but that's real for me. I want to help people every day on the daily. Okay. So it's important that somebody doesn't have to go through and struggle like I struggled, have all the health issues and the devastating mental effects that go along with it. So, yes, you do some intermittent fasting. Your break fast is really not a morning meal necessarily, and I work with you on what that can look like for you. You're going to fast for 16 hours, eat in an 8-hour window. If you choose to have breakfast and lunch instead of having dinner, that's you do that. If you choose to not eat until lunchtime and then have lunch and dinner because you're having dinner with family, do that. But it's 16 hours fasting, 8-hour eating window. Okay, so the light is bright today outside. It's beautiful out there, and I need to get out for my morning walk. But so there's 4 different patented blends in the balance, and we're going to go over all of that, why this is unique and why it's different from those other couple of fibers that you hear about all the time. Number one, like I said, there's 9 different soluble and insoluble fibers in here. Every fiber has its action in the body. By the way, you look at the biosphere fiber, and 3 of those fibers, if you do studies on what fibers can reduce glucose in the system, the 3 fibers that they list are the top 3 in the biosphere fiber. Yes, there's a lot of science behind this. So the balance really helps curb appetite between meals and controlling your blood sugar. And here's how. That biosphere fiber that I talked about is a unique blend of 5 different sources of fiber, and they help support cholesterol levels and slow the conversion of high glycemic carbohydrates, meaning it's not delivering those sugars as quickly to your body, so you're not getting those high insulin spikes. So then the 7X technology is viscous soluble fibers that form that thick gel in your gut that start to fill it up and make you feel full before you even eat. And then they help slow the emptying of your stomach, which helps you stay full longer. So it's not just about getting full before you eat, but it's staying full longer so you have less of that half hour later, I'm hungry, I want something to eat. The balance really handles a lot of that for you. So then the cardio matrix, this one has plant phytosterols in it, and chrysanthemum is key. And if you guys look up chrysanthemum, it talks about how it works wonders for cholesterol absorption, and that's why it's added in here along with some other phytosterols to help with that cardio matrix. And then our scientists are so on fire that they've taken and said, hey, if we do, and they actually have studies, if you go to unicityscience.org, there's studies where they show that adding these vitamins and minerals, my hair is crazy, vitamins and minerals to this whole complex really amplifies the effects of this. So do they really care about your health? Yes. Are we just trying to sell you one type of fiber and say, oh no, that's going to do everything you need? No, because that's a lie. And so hate to say this, no, I don't hate to say it, but some of those people who are just saying, just do the Metamucil or the Benefiber, it works the same, that's a lie. The lie detector test said that's a lie. Okay, so that's our balance. Now, that's pretty much it, you guys. I do want to go back and I'm going to show you, if you're interested, where to find it. Woo! So are you guys over there in Facebook land. But this is, if you tap on my profile picture and come to the top of my profile page, you'll see the red lights here, and you just tap on that link. Yours is going to look black. It's not going to be red like mine. And that'll take you to this Linktree page. And you just want to go down to where it says Order Feel Great. And that link is going to work. We're available in 34 different countries right now. And if you're wondering, these are some of the countries we're available in with the Feel Great. Unicity is available in many more countries than this, but Feel Great's available in all of these countries right now. If you're there, that one link is going to work for you regardless. And we have manufacturing and shipping facilities throughout the world, so you're not waiting for stuff to come from the US if you're in the UK or if you're in Australia, okay? So yeah, Tammy says you won't be hungry for sweets and other junk. It's just crazy how this changes your choices. Absolutely, it does. It changes, like you just don't have those cravings like you used to. You guys, I do want to go back and show. I don't have it closed. I have it closed down. But if you have questions, by the way, and you click on the my website link, it's going to take you there, my crazy face. But there's a ton of information in there. So if you want to just sit down at your leisure, I talk about the Feel Great system. There's a lot of videos on the science and why this is working. And there's tabs for the products. You guys, I've tried to put everything in here that you may need. Reviews and success, FAQs, links to the PDR, which we haven't even gotten to yet today. And I will if you guys want to. But now I got to set this back up. Uh-oh. There we go. I was having some malfunction over here. So I got to get my, there we are, my YouTube, Facebook land back in order. Okay. So when does what happen? That happens for me, the lessening of cravings, I noticed within the first week. Um, you guys, it's going to be different for everybody. I realized in that first week, I think I had days in the first month where, because I hyperfixate, it would be 19 or 20 hours since I ate, and I didn't even realize it because I just wasn't hungry. And I would look up from my work and be like, man, I'm feeling a little bit hungry. And then I would realize, well, yeah, it's been like 19 hours since you ate. Yep. I hear all the time from people who say they don't even want their coffee anymore. So Travis, did you sign up with me? Because then we need to have a talk and figure out what's going on. There may be more happening with you, and if you're not having lessening of hunger, there may be some more gut issues with you. I want to talk about this real quick too. When you're having some hunger and sugar cravings and stuff, your gut microbiome is likely so far off that it's going to take a while for that to happen for you. When your gut microbiome is flooded with negative bacteria like yeast, you're naturally going to crave more sugar because those bacteria want to live and thrive, right? So when they're taking over the gut and they thrive on sugar, they're going to cue you to eat more sugar. That's what happens in the body. So it just may take more time. But there's also a cleanse that you can do. I do it now twice a year just to help remove bacteria and stuff from my gut. You know, I know there's people who say do them, don't do them, that your body's cleansing all the time. Well, when your body's overloaded, it can't do that job. That's what I've learned from both sides of the camp, right? So I do this cleanse. It's called the cleanse. Um, and I do it about twice a year. The last one I did was just before December, so it probably in June I'll do another cleanse. And I just noticed that it just helps with any back, especially because I travel, right? And I'm traveling out of country a lot. So I don't know what I've gotten a hold of. And you guys, it's shocking what comes out. But try the cleanse if you're not having the hunger come down. And I don't know how long you've been on it, but try. You might want to try and add the cleanse. And by the way, the cleanse works right alongside. I never have to stop the system. I never stopped the system for anything. I had surgeries the first year I was on the system because I was so unhealthy and lost my gallbladder and all that. I took my packets. Like when I had to go to the hospital, I just packed up my stuff in my bag, took it right in the room. As soon as I came out of surgery and they cleared me to eat, I was like, I need my purse and I'm taking my supplements before I ate anything, even in the hospital. I had my system. And you know what? The cool thing is, it is in the PDR. So the nurses, most of the nurses were like, okay, it's not medicine, whatever, but they would go look it up. I'd be like, go look it up in the PDR. Go check it out. So they would go look it up and they'd be like, okay, you can have it. Yeah, it's not medication, it's food. So they could, like, there was no objection to me having it in the hospital. So when people are like, I'm going in for surgery or I'm this or I'm that, well, no, if they're telling you not to have it before the surgery, don't. But as soon as you come out and you're ready to eat again, I use this every time, 4 different surgeries. And by the way, the doctors were always amazed because I'm a bigger girl. I will always be a bigger girl. That's my build. Always was, always will be. But they were shocked at how little visceral fat, that fat between the gut muscles and the organs inside and in and around the organs, they were shocked at how little I had. I attribute the system to that because it helps clear those out. So um, the cleanse, are you, Kalita, is that Callie Taylor Ventris? There we go. I think I got it right. Is the cleanse what you're asking about? Because the cleanse is just 3 products. There's a tablet that you take in the morning, or a capsule that you take in the morning, first thing in the morning, and before your Unimate even. That's helping release the bacteria and stuff from your gut. Then there's a different fiber, because remember, all fiber is not equal. We have a fiber called live fiber. By the way, it costs about the same as this, but our live fiber has 29 different types of fiber in it. That fiber goes through then and is like a broom to help clean all of that stuff that's being released out. You drink that, and then there's an aloe vera tablet, which is a very mild form of laxative that you take at night just to continue moving stuff through, and you do that for about 30 days. So, and you can do it right alongside of the system. So, an herbal concoction that helps with bacteria in the morning, and then another fiber that's different action fiber than what this system is, and then the aloe vera. That's the detox. Okay. Um, yeah. So there's things, and when I want everybody to encourage everybody to understand that my results are not going to look like your results, like Tammy's results, like somebody else's results. We all have a unique microbiome and we all have unique genetics. And so the system is working with your body and not trying to force you into something else. So if there's other things going on with you, that may take a while for the hunger to come down. I didn't lose weight for 6 weeks on the system, and then I started dropping weight really quickly. But things like, what I want to encourage people to understand is things like having less visceral fat. That's huge, because when your body is choked off with visceral fat, and I don't think I have the slide up here for that. I will find one. Um, but that visceral fat is between your gut and your organs, is choking off your organs, your liver, your kidneys, your gallbladder, your all of the stuff in there starts to get impacted by that. Um, thank you. So that that's really important. So that's why I now, and when I send emails out to people, I ask everyone to like write down every single thing that you're suffering from, because you're probably focused on 1 or 2 things, but not recognizing, hey, I have headaches a lot. Hey, I have allergies. Hey, I have muscle cramps in the morning. Hey, I have whatever. And then as it starts to get better, because you've written it down and you understand, now you're able to see how much good the system is actually doing for you and how much you're actually healing. And so, am I still a bigger girl? Yes. Will I ever be as thin as some of these girls on here? Nope, not ever, because that's just not my genetics. But am I healthy? Yeah. Can I get up and down off the floor? Can I bend over and pick things up? Can I go up and down stairs? Do I have vertigo? Do I have bleeding teeth and gums? Nope, don't have any of that anymore. So my health journey looks different, and that's, yeah, stick to start writing it down, Travis. Write down everything that you were suffering from before and start checking off the things that you feel better with now. And that's huge, right? So when we talk about energy and sleep, and Travis just talked about, sorry, you guys, I keep forgetting to read these comments over here. Travis says his energy and sleep have improved. That's important because cortisol, although my wheelhouse is insulin, cortisol is huge too. So when cortisol is out to play, it's still causing havoc, and it can actually, excess cortisol can exacerbate the insulin resistance as well. So sleep is extremely important. Um, Thank you, Travis. Yeah, just use my link. You can do that, and if you need help, you can just reach out to me and let me know, and I'll help you through that. And then Yeah, you guys all get to when you purchase from me. By the way, my WhatsApp is on that link on my link tree. I get messages all the time and I do respond to them. So if you need me every day, I mean, I have people who text me every day. I have people who text me once a month. And it's up to you how much support you need and how much you want to hear from me in your day. Okay? So I'm going to go back to a couple of things here because I'm just having a good time. Y'all, thank you because I've had such an amazing morning this morning with you. I love hanging out with you guys. I am going to go do my meditations and my workout here in a little bit. But look, don't drink your carbs, eat them. I want to make sure that I get this through. I haven't talked about this as much lately, but sugary drinks, including fruit juices, deliver carbs straight into the bloodstream. And fruit juices, you guys, the unique thing with them and fruits is that they have this thing called fructose in them. And you'd think that's better, right? But fructose has to be, it relies more heavily on the liver to be digested and it ends up in the liver. So why we see kids with non-alcoholic fatty liver, why we see 6-year-olds with that is because mommy and daddy, following the rules of the food system, have fed them fruit juices over and over and over again, and fruits as healthy alternatives, right? Well, it is healthier in the fact that you're getting vitamins and minerals, hopefully, but you're also getting this excess fructose. So please, if you're going to give your kids fruit, let them eat it. We need to stop the fruit juice obsession. And you guys, even like, I don't drink often, but when I'm with friends, sometimes I have a drink. And when we were in Dominican Republic, I had some fruity drinks and I would get really sick. And I'm like, what is going on? And then I realized, oh, it's the sugar from the juice mixed in the alcohol. So I switched to having martinis, low sugar, none of that, did not get sick. The fruit juice is making us sick, and you guys, we're just not realizing how sick. And I know there's been a long history of pushing fruit juice on everybody, get all that in, but it's creating this excess sugar in your bloodstream. Okay, so fats. When I talked about fats, these are the fats you guys want. Screenshot it if you want to, but you want to get in fats from animal products like butter, ghee, lard, and duck fat. Don't cut the fats off of your steak or your chicken. Use coconut oil, avocado oil, and extra virgin olive oil. So when you look at these light bottles, those are not healthy fats. Those are seed oils that have enough of the other in it to call it avocado or extra virgin or olive oil, and they're still seed oils that are damaging to you. There's a whole bunch of information on seed oils. They were originally made as an industrial oil, and then they started marketing it to us as food. That and the fact that they're drenched in hexane to process them. They say they clean the hexane off, but I don't know. Would you dredge your chicken through hexane and then rinse it off and fry it and think it was healthy for you? I don't know. I do know that whenever I get a hold of seed oils, like for instance, KFC. I ate out this weekend with my grandson. He wanted McDonald's, a Happy Meal on Saturday. So I'm like, cool, but I hate McDonald's. So there's KFC right next door, and I bought this double down 2 chicken breasts with cheese and bacon in the middle, right? Lots of protein, some good fats, should be all right. But what I wasn't taking into consideration is they cook that fat in probably peanut oil or some other oil, and I was sicker than hell all night long because of it, right? Not much is pure. You just have to do the best you can. But when you have these like blaring red siren lights, stay away from it. Like if it's a siren blaring at you, maybe not go there. Okay, and then do the best you can with everything else. So you want to make sure you're getting in enough protein, and that looks like about 0.8 grams of protein per pound of body weight, around 80 to 120 grams of protein for most of us. And make sure you're getting in those healthy fats with it. They help you metabolize that protein. Then you want to look at, this is one of the big ones, you guys. This is not a weight loss program. This is a system to help your health. And fat loss is not weight loss. Take your measurements, pay attention to how your clothes fit, stop the obsession with the scale, because the scale may not be changing, but your size might be changing. So with insulin resistance, not only are you having bone loss, you're having tissue loss, you're having muscle loss. When you start to change your way of eating and become more metabolically flexible, now your body can start to have more natural levels of bone, muscle, and tissue. Those things per volume weigh more than fat does. So as you're losing fat and replacing it with healthy tissue, the scale may not change, but your size certainly may be. So fat loss is not weight loss, and you hear more and more people talking about that. Toss the scale. And yeah, meat, I know there was somebody on the TikTok said meat is injected with all sorts of things, and most meats are true. How do we get away from it? We can't unless you're willing to go up on a mountainside and raise all your own stuff, right? And it's just not feasible for most of us. But there are I do want to talk about side effects, you guys. When you start, your gut has been so unhealthy and not getting the fibers it needs, so you may have some problems with digestion at first. I always encourage you to understand that this is a healthy change, that your gut's getting stronger. Drink plenty of water, and because excess fiber means you've got to have water, hydrate to get through that, and it will start to get better. I've had people with Crohn's, IBS, leaky gut start to get better with the system as their gut microbiome gets better. How long do you have to use it for? I just had this question this morning. It's not a restrictive diet, a passing fad, or a difficult health challenge. It's designed to be sustainable. So these are tools that you want to use consistently. And what I want to mention is, like, are you going to eat 2 meals today? Or say starting today, you start eating healthy and you do that for a month and you start feeling better. Does that mean you're never going to eat again because you ate for those days and started feeling better? No. Or like, would you brush your teeth for 30 days and then be like, yeah, I brushed my teeth, they're clean now, I don't have to brush them again? Your body is a living, growing organism. About every 9 weeks, your cells turn over. That means you need support consistently. The difference is, like with those medications that people are taking, they're breaking down your system. This is building up and supporting your system. So we're not having those negative side effects of liver failure, kidney failure, heart failure, throat cancer. And yes, those are real side effects of some of those drugs. It makes me sad every time somebody says, I don't care, I just want to lose the weight. Like, you're going to trade a few years of healthy weight for years of debilitating disease. Everybody gets to make their choice. That's not my choice. I don't like those medications. So we've had this question a couple of times this morning already. When will you see results? And the short answer is it's different for everybody. However, we have a 90-day money-back guarantee. So I always encourage, don't do this if you're only going to do 30 days. If you're going to do 30 days and be like, I didn't lose weight, or it didn't cure all my symptoms, don't even start. If you can commit to yourself for 90 days and see what happens in 90 days, absolutely do it, because you have a 90-day money-back guarantee for all 90 days. If you do the system and it doesn't work, or if you have your labs beforehand and your A1C, triglycerides, and blood glucose do not go down in that 90 days, you get your money back. So give yourself 90 days. It's a real food system that's supporting you from the inside out, and see what can happen. You'll be shocked. Some people lose weight right away. I didn't lose it for 6 weeks, but by 5 months in, I was down 50 pounds. So yeah, there's all those factors. Everybody starts at a different place, has different health concerns, so it's going to look different for everyone. And it may take 6 weeks, like I said, for you to start seeing big results, but things like energy and mental clarity, you should start to see right away. Remember, weight loss is a side effect. It's not the whole goal of the system. If you're doing this for weight loss, there are so many other things out there that can just give you weight loss. We're talking about changing your health. And also, you remember, you have me to coach you and help you along the way. I'm always here. You can always ask me questions, like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? Just celebrate with me. I love when people write me and tell me, all the good things. Like, it's been a while since I've talked about this one, but I had a woman who had heart disease, and she had been having multiple scans. They couldn't figure out what was going wrong with her. Her mother literally gave her the system. She was on the system for a month, went back in for a heart scan. First normal heart scan in 4 years. And all she did different was the system. Now, not making any medical claims, sharing stories of people with real life problems and real life results. Like ladies with PCOS that were told they would never have children are now having children and having families. Every time I get those messages from young women who thought they would not be able to have children, I just spoke with someone who was on the system and they're now pregnant. They thought they were never going to have children. It's those things, like that's everything, right? That's everything when people can have those kind of results. And I'm going to get a little sensitive right now, but like guys who have erectile dysfunction, I know some amazing men, and it's devastating mentally and emotionally to have that low testosterone and erectile dysfunction, and they're searching and they're blaming themselves internally, just like women blame themselves internally for PCOS and all this other stuff. And then they start the system and their hormone levels rebound and they gain function back, and they're like, holy smokes, it was that easy. And I'm not dysfunctional, I'm not worthless as a man, because this wasn't my problem, this wasn't my fault. So you guys, it's amazing the things that can happen. And by the way, I talked about the PDR. If anybody wants me to go into the PDR, I certainly can. But you guys can go to the PDR.net and check out the products. Everything is in there. I do want to tell you things like Herbalife, GNC, Kirkland's, Q Sciences, all of those guys, they don't have anything in the PDR. You can look at it. We have 18 natural products in the PDR. We're a science-based company addressing your health needs by finding out what the health need is and how can we more naturally affect it. Not like, ooh, this is a trend, we're going to put out a supplement to help you with that. So, and then doctors, yeah, we have tons of doctors recommending it. Scientists, doctors, weight loss doctors. There's a video up on my other page, the Misha Fayant, and it's about a neurologist who's talking about the system, hasn't seen anything like it in his entire career. Oncologists, cardiologists, diabetes doctors, endocrinologists are all hopping on board, and how great this is. There's one oncologist in Canada who has a patient who had some colon cancer, and not that it saved her from the colon cancer, but it kept her healthy. And with us, he said if she hadn't been on the system, she might not be alive today. And he told her that he wished she would sit out front of his office with the system and talk to people about it instead of the people with like insurance that stuff, because he really believes that the system is doing that much good for people. So yeah, we do have a number of doctors who are jumping on board and saying this is amazing. So no, it's not just some whatever some of those people say. You guys also, what I've been talking about is we handle our own supply chain. We control our products from start to finish, and all these other companies, they may not even know what's in their bottle that's labeled. They just order it from a warehouse and they don't know, like I said, botanically, if it's the right thing in there, or if it's something else. And that's why some of them are getting in trouble when they get tested. We also have partnerships with a number of things like the PDR, the American Diabetes Association, American Heart Association, Johns Hopkins, Cleveland, all of these places. Like I said, it's with Clean Sport and a Cologne List, Informed Choice, NSF. They've all come in and specifically tested the products to make sure that it's not going to cause an issue for athletes who are taking it in their sport. And then, and it's not just in sport. In some countries, if they have random drug testing, and if they get tested for something that pops on that, they can get in big trouble. And so that's important in some countries that those are listed with that. All right, you guys, like I said, there's a 90-day money-back guarantee. We also have a best price guarantee. When you order it from me, you're not going to have to pay more than I do or anyone else that I know. You're going to get that best price that you can get. And we also are testing every single batch to make sure that it's efficacious and you're getting what we say you're getting. And then, look, if you put it on subscription, you're saving money. I need to change this because it's now omega-3s and not bone fortify. But if you're excited like Tammy has been and referring others, I keep attributing people to Tammy because she refers them. And now next month she'll get a $10 product from every person who purchases, which reduces the cost of her system and helps her out. And when you do that subscription, by the way, you're getting $5 off and then you're not paying shipping as well. And if you want to do what I'm doing, just let me know. You guys, I don't talk about this one as much, and I'm going to start talking about it more. That's why I created the Misha Fayant, because I'm going to talk about it more over there. But this whole thing, not only did it save my health, it saved my financial health. I went from struggling, having to take out loans to live every day, to helping people and thriving financially. So if you're interested in something, am I going to tell you it's easy? Just like I'm not, the system is not a magic bullet. No, no. Do I work a lot? Do I put a lot of effort into my business? Yes. Is it worth it? Yes. And one of the reasons it's worth it is because I'm on the East Coast now from the West Coast. And the whole reason I'm here is because two things. I have a grandson who has debilitating disease that we don't know how long we're going to have him, and he takes a lot of care. So I'm here to help and spend time with him while I can. And the business gave me the financial ability to pick up and move all the way across the country, find a home here that supports me being able to help him. And that's important. Is it all about the money? No. Does money help with all of those things? Yes. And you know what? Really vulnerable too. I was talking to somebody last night. I think it was, I don't know who it was, but I was talking about my story and, yeah, like I was driving Lyft and struggling. And I eventually couldn't drive Lyft anymore because of all the disorders that were happening with the insulin resistance. And so I had to tap in and find something. And I started doing this and helping other people, and my whole life has changed. So, anyway, all of that to say, if you're interested in the business side of it, I'm here to help coach you. I'm also creating all kinds of systems for my team so that it makes it effortless for you to do the business. But reach out to me and ask me those questions too. I'm here to help either way because I'm all about changing people's lives. And when I sat down this morning and I thought about, do I even want to broach that? I'm like, well, how could I not? If it changed my life in this way and took me from being terrified of having to be a burden for my kids financially and physically to not having that concern anymore, and could I affect someone else's life in that way? Absolutely, I need to talk about it. So, love you all for hanging out with me. It's been about an hour and a half. Crazy how time flies when amazing people are hanging with you. But I'm going to go get my meditations and my qigong and stuff done and then get back to work and helping people. All the information is in those links for you guys. By the way, on TikTok, it's in my profile. Those of you guys over on Facebook, YouTube, there's a QR code there, and my web address is mishafayant.com, just like my name is spelled. You guys will see that. I'd love to hear from you. All of my information, you guys, is in those places, including how to get a hold of me. I just been getting WhatsApp medication or messages from people in the UK this morning, and I'm really blessed that I get to touch people around the world and help them out. So, with that, I'm going to head out. Love you all. Thanks for hanging with me. You're so, so welcome, Travis. I I'm so blessed that this has been helpful for you. Okay, and I mean that. So I'll talk to you guys all later. Have a great day.